Hey Adventures, today is going to be a book review for The Great Hunt, which is book 2 of The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Basic, just quick overall thoughts. I was not hooked nearly as early in this one as I was in book 1. I didn't love the ending a whole lot. There was some cool things about it. I wanted to like it and I did enjoy it, like I didn't not like it. But I felt like something was missing or it was rushed a bit, so a little bit of that. And I did overall enjoy book 1 more. Book 2 is just a great continuation and setup for what things to come. A little bit more in depth, there's this idea, and it's in the real world too, this idea of liminal spaces, which if you don't know what that is, it is this idea that there is spaces that at certain times, or all the time sometimes depending on the space, but there are spaces that feel like reality is different for some reason. Things like coming home from the airport late at night. That type of thing where reality just feels very different than normal. There's stuff like that. That general idea, there's more. I wish I could remember the other examples of what a liminal space is, but that idea, it's something that I really find interesting and that I really like. And it's the same type of thing that is used in really a lot of series. So anytime there's like a world between worlds, that would be that same type of idea. So it was heavily prevalent in book 1. There was a major sequence that happened in book 1 that was in what would be considered a liminal space, and I really enjoyed that. In book 2 there was another one that was different than in book 1, and I really enjoyed that as well. I thought it was very interesting, and the way that the world building was created in such a way so that it would make sense was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. We'll keep it vague. The various different trials that Nynaeve went through in this one, I really liked them, partly because they reminded me, and there was some distinct parallels between her trials and the visions in the Mirror of Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. They were not exactly the same. Obviously they weren't. It wasn't word for word or anything like that, but there was some parallels and some similarities that I saw with them, and I really enjoyed seeing that. Overall, the world building was super interesting. Lots and lots of world building established and lore given, and the exploration, or the introduction rather, to the great game and how all that's working. Terangreals, I think is how it's pronounced. That was super interesting, just seeing how important those will probably become later in the series. The Shan-Chen, that was very interesting. It felt very out of place. It felt wrong. It didn't feel out of place, it felt wrong, which I think is kind of the point in what it's supposed to feel like. So definitely, like there's just so much about it that is very interesting and very weird, and I really liked it. And some of it didn't work quite as well for me, some of it did really work for me. Selene, I don't know who Selene is or what Selene is doing, but I don't trust her, and I don't think you're supposed to, and I'm going to leave it at that because any more would really kind of start dipping into spoilers a little bit, but I don't like Selene. I was kind of disappointed with basically the end of Rand's arc in this book. What happens with the sword, all that kind of stuff, there's quite a bit of it that I was a little bit saddened and disappointed by, just because I've actually come to appreciate and really like that side of the story. I was very happy with the character growth for Iguane in this one, because in book 1 I really found her annoying. In this one I didn't find her nearly as annoying. She's still frustrates me a little bit and isn't my favorite character. That would be still Lan and Perrin, but I didn't find her nearly as annoying as book 1, I guess. So the last thing is kind of a little bit of a spoiler, but it's really early on in the book. When we see the when we see the Myrddraal nailed to the door with the spikes through his eyes, or eye spaces, that I mentioned something about it being I just met an inquisitized Myrddraal or something like that, and come to find out, in Brandon Sanderson's recent spoiler live stream that he did just a couple days ago, he specifically mentioned that he probably unconsciously drew inspiration and got the idea for Inquisitors from that scene without him realizing it. So that is hilarious that I picked up on that, and the fact that it is indeed probably where he got the inspiration for that. So just a random thing that I thought about. But so that was kind of cool to see as well. Anything else that I need to mention about this book? Not that I can think of off the top of my head. So I will leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this spoiler-free review of The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. I'm very much looking forward to continuing this series and continuing into book 3. It's gonna have to wait till probably at least after the new year sometime. I've got other things that I need to get to. Thank you guys for watching An Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday. We will see you guys again soon. Stay well.